It is a proven fact that better skilled sales leaders deliver better results. The Learning Huddle is designed to do just that. By providing this forum, you as a sales manager have the opportunity to upskill your team and to help them achieve new levels of personal potential. The Learning Huddle is a team meeting led by sales makers for sales makers. And it's normally focused on the development of accounts or opportunities or processes or skills. And it's normally scheduled during the 1st, 4th, and the 9th week out of the quarter. It's not the sales manager's role to lead the Learning Huddle. Rather, it's your role to guide the identification of topics and to ensure that your sales maker is prepared and present, and then debrief with the sales maker that led the topic after the Learning Huddle. This is such a great opportunity for the sales maker to showcase their leadership by demonstrating their level of preparation, also their effectiveness as a team communicator, and then sharpening their presentation and facilitation skills as they manage through team dynamics. Great Learning Huddle leaders can ultimately become your future sales managers. Let's get into the why of the Learning Huddle. Here's a few of the payoffs and takeaways that we would look for from the Learning Huddle. First, the development of accounts, opportunities, processes, or the skills of my sales makers. It's also a great time for mind share. That's that concept of mental synergy where you put your idea in and I put my idea in, and that equals more than just two ideas. It could give us that next big idea that nobody's even thought of yet. It's a great time for skill development, where we have our team moving forward and learning and improving every single day. It's also a great time for productivity, so we focus on specific things and we get better at what we do. I love the opportunity for helping my team develop their presentation skills, giving them those moments where they sharpen skills around one of life's fundamental values, which is how do we speak in public? And then it's also a great leadership incubator, a time to develop my emerging leaders. All right, let's dive into how you as a sales manager support your sales maker in the facilitation of this meeting and then how the meeting agenda unfolds. So during other meetings, whether it's a one-on-one or a team meeting with the sales makers, the sales manager should be capturing ideas for learning huddles that ultimately give us the topics that we're going to deal with. Those meeting topics can also come from changes in process or maybe skill gaps that we've identified in discussions that we've had with sales makers. Learning huddle topics can also come from other big wins or best practices of success stories that have been shared in our team meetings. Now, when preparing to assign a learning huddle topic, sales managers want to review their notes from prior meetings and review their dashboards for opportunities for accounts to use as examples in the meeting. We begin by selecting the topic for the meeting and 3 metrics as the foundation for the Learning Huddle. Great Learning Huddles focus on one of several categories, including opportunities, accounts, skills that we're working on, maybe an internal process, or possibly a tool or other topic that specifically target productivity improvement. The team could also have the opportunity to choose one of the topics, although as a sales manager, you may want to reserve the right to assign a topic. Use the meeting planner in your participants guide to complete the POAD for this meeting. Remember, the Foundations video provides all the instructions that you need for using these specific tools. Now, the sales maker fills this out in advance and then submits it to the sales manager. During the huddle, the sales maker walks the group through the meeting objectives, and the group provides feedback that could help the sales maker grow the opportunity. Or maybe it helps the sales maker overcome specific obstacles or even manage the account in a better way. As the manager, it's important for us to be able to set the leader up for success. If you're not certain if they have exceptional communication or presentation skills, then spend some time with them coaching them prior to the meeting. Let the meeting leader lead the meeting. But if the topic starts to get off track, this is a great place for you to step back in and began to pull the rabbit back onto the trail. The sales manager's role here is only to keep things on track, not to take the meeting over. Since the Learning Huddle discussions are open and free-flowing, it can be a challenge to manage the different and often dynamic personalities that comprise a strong sales team. Think about the different styles of team members that you have. They probably reflect one of these 4 behavioral categories. You have doers on your team. Those are the people who tend to be short, to the point with their answers. Or maybe they make everything about them. I'm certain that you have talkers on your team. After all, these are sales teams. They tend to tell stories during the meeting that sometimes go on and on and on, or they like to get a lot of recognition. You might even have a few thinkers on your team. They tend to be very quiet during team meetings, but their approach during the meeting and even after, they have great ideas to share. Or possibly you have some guardians on your team. They might sit back, even in the edges of the room, and not be willing to share, but they're often going to have facial expressions that tell you that they're frustrated or unhappy or maybe dissatisfied with how the meeting's going. Ensure that the leader is using the batting lineup technique to solicit input from all the team members. Detailed information on this particular tool is also available in that Foundations video. So now that you've chosen a topic and a meeting leader, and that you've made sure that the sales maker is prepared to lead the meeting, let's talk about the agenda for the meeting. The Learning Huddle is comprised of 5 key components. First, we have the performance review, the sales maker overview of focus. Next, team questions. Also, team brainstorming. And then finally, action planning and updates. The first component is the performance review. So we began with a general status brief to review the current situation for the team. We might be looking for issues that could provide a natural segue into the team topic. Something like, team, today for our Learning Huddle, we're going to have Steve lead us through a collaborative learning conversation on the topic of asking open-ended questions. As you know, Steve recently closed the Moksha account, and he did a great job by asking great open-ended questions that ultimately allowed the customer to see their need for the solution that we can provide. Steve, great job. Take over the Learning Huddle. The next component is the sales maker overview of focus. So this is where we start by introducing the team member who's going to teach the focus topic, and then we step out of the way and we let him or her drive the meeting. They completely own the situation. So here Steve's going to lay out the importance of using open-ended questions throughout the sales process, and particularly in the discovery stage. He's going to build his case for the topic, clearly communicating the desired takeaways for the entire team. So after Steve lays out the focus of the meeting, and he could do that in a variety of ways. It could be a video that he shares or an article that he shares or just a conversation. The next thing we focus on are team questions. So the team member should use the batting lineup to solicit feedback from every member of the team. The manager can also ask questions, but try to let the team self-lead. So Steve's now going to take questions or comments from the team using the batting lineup format. This tool is included in your workbook. And he might say something like this. I'd like to get your initial feedback or your questions on the topic of open-ended questions. Erica, let's start with you. And then Mike, we're going to come to you. And then Mike, after you. Seema, you're up. All right, go ahead. Erica, any questions from you? So this order to the meeting keeps people on mental tasks to stay engaged, as they know that they're soon going to be required to either respond or provide some type of input. Team Brainstorm is designed for creating specific ideas for applying what's been learned. So we want to use situations from the performance review if possible, and then once again use that batting lineup. So Steve's going to use the format to keep everybody engaged by calling out the order in which they can ask questions and then provide feedback. Thanks, Mike. Seema, you're up next. Any comments on Mike's ideas? And after Seema goes, then we're going to address Andreas, and then after that, we'll go to Wade. The last component focuses on action planning and updates. This is where team members make commitments going forward, and they look for ways to apply the focus topic as appropriate. So what commitments to the new behavior will you make as a result of the conversation that we've had today? Or how will you begin to use open-ended questions in your customer or prospect conversations? The manager should close the meeting by soliciting topics and possibly identifying the lead for the next learning huddle. After the huddle, the manager should meet with the leader and provide coaching and feedback. Always be sure to start by thanking the leader for leading the group. We also would want to have a discussion on our own follow-up about action items flowing out of that learning huddle. The learning huddle can be a highly energizing team meeting as sales makers are helping each other learn and develop skills towards their own growth.